I woke from a dream, and it was about showbread. And it was just the tail end of whatever I and another person were observing. And, the skeptical thought enters. Yeah, next thing you'll know, they'll be comparing showbread, who's greater, bigger, better, all of that. So, of course, I have to look up what does this showbread mean. So, it represents God's desire to fellowship with us. I think that is what wants to be highlighted. It prefigures the Christ, the Messiah, who gives us life. This is my body. And if Yeshua, before the earthly experience, was that light that gave birth to all that the Creator had imagined, then we are within that light. We are made up of His body. The bread we eat, this is made up from the body of Yeshua. So, basically, we're all cannibals. If you want to say that's cannibalism, then we're all cannibals. I hate to tell you. I mean, you could go to the body of Satan, and then you will be a metaphysical cannibal as well as a physical, literal cannibal. Your choice. You're free to make it. So, it also represents abundance and provision comes from our Creator. So, that's part of what the showbread symbolizes. And it also represents the covenant relationship. So you can't have a showbread table and put showbread on it unless you're in the covenant relationship. That's probably where the comparing comes in. Like, oh, my showbread table, look at this. My covenant with God is greater. That's not the point. So the point to be focused on is that fellowship with our Creator. People spend all day talking about God, about the meaning of things, about the future, about prophecy, about the environment, about everything. We talk about, and we pray at. Oh, God, give me this. Oh, God, I am suffering. And you start throwing it at Him, projecting. It's the fellowship. It's the sitting down, eating the bread. Wow, this bread is good. This is rich. This is a warm taste. A nice vibrational hum starts going, like a cat purring. Our energy field will start to vibrate. And so you send that up to the Father, and you start coaxing that back towards yourself in a way. And that's really the point of abundance being given to us, is so that it can be coaxed out of us. This fellowship, this communing, this appreciation, this purring, that we can share with our Creator. And yeah, our Creator is all, doesn't need anything else in order to exist. Happy, yep, got a big old pocket of happy here. I got my pocket of happy. So, whew, look, I'm feeling happy. Without other to be in relationship with, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, significance exists then. Relevance exists then. Where does relevance live if there's nothing to be relevant to? there are things that can only exist where there is other, and we are that other that was desired so that all these other things can exist. Family. Ask the people living in castles with everything, but nobody wants to talk to them, spend time with them, hear their stories. You know, can't tell anybody how wonderful they are, you know. Nobody can tell them how wonderful they are. What good is gaining the whole world if there's no soul? If there's no relationship, if there's no communing, no sharing, no relevancy, you know, all that. So that's the primary thing, is the fellowship. The abundance is given so that, and that was the model that mankind was supposed to have to make the earth subject to him. It wasn't get in line, blah, 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 blah. No, it was coaxing. What do you need? What makes this plant sing, you know? Oh, look, this herd, it's grown and they need more feed. Mountain, could you just move that little bit right there, please, so that they can get out of the valley and grow into the next valley? Do you mind? And water, can you just flow that way a little bit so that they have water in this next valley to drink? Do you mind doing that? Like, that was man's role. You got the faith of a mustard seed, you can move a mountain, calm the winds, walk across water, get water from a rock. Like, that was the role. That's fellowship with our Creator. You know, hey, Creator, you know, look at these beautiful little animals that you made. They're wonderful, they're cute, and they're growing and they're expanding. Do you see this? And, you know, there's so much delight in, oh my goodness, and the Creator can come and dwell within us and see out our eyes, and if seeing for the first time. You'll see there are videos. People, you know, the younger generation finally gets exposed to the old songs, and there's an old group that has a song that's called I Write the Songs, and the one who wrote the very first song is the one who's voicing this through the singer. And it says, in you, though I am millions of years old, I am young again. Instead of giving that to Satan, why not give that to our Creator? Let our Creator come and experience and perceive themselves as young and new. Even human beings have no problem relating to, you know, being around small children and getting to see life for the first time again, as we watch and observe our children encountering things for the first time. You know, like poking at a frog and the frog leaps. It's their first experience seeing a frog leap, and you delight in it and maybe reconnect yourself when you were a child. That's what fellowship gives to our Creator. We're made in His image, so we can embody that spirit and share these experiences in that most intimate way with our Creator. And that is the importance of the showbread. If you're going to compare showbread it's like, compare how often you make the Creator proud, like a parent, and delight. There was a time I'm walking barefoot through the grass, and I've got, you know, the prairie skirt on, so it's ankle length, And it's dark, it's nighttime. And it's very wet ground. It's up in Maine. It's all wet except for the month of August or September. Then you might go camping. Otherwise, it's just mud season. So the grass is damp and everything. And I'm walking across the grass. And then all of a sudden I hear flap, 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 patting on my foot. And I'm like, what is, like something's trying to get my attention. I was standing on the foot of a frog. Oh, it's a big frog. And I just I knew that it was my creator playing with me. Like, just that shock and delight, and, all of that. I knew that there was a presence there wanting to play with me, break me out of my solemnity, my seriousness, and, whatever I was focusing on. So that's, our creator will have a playful relationship like that with us. I was riding in a vehicle while my friend was driving down a dirt road in a holler down in Kentucky. And all of a sudden this deer jumps in front of the Jeep. And it looks at us. And it starts jumping. Like, all right, come on, chase me. Follow me. You could tell it was just a young buck. And then it went darting off into the woods. Our creator, the spirits around us, they want to play with us. As I've said before, I was staying in the national forest, moving from one to the other, and all the free campsites, and I was down in this valley, and the spirits were conveying to me how people, they complain, oh, these people, they're building little rock formations and rivers and disrupting the view, the scenery. Oh, it's bad for the environment. And I just very strongly got the message from the spirits of the land that when you go there and you take nothing but pictures, you steal a part of that energy and you put it like a trophy on your wall. But you don't interact with it. You don't touch it. You don't move it. You don't massage it. You don't create an experience for yourself out of it. And so that's why they like the old drunks, hiding in the woods, passing out, leaving their beer cans there. They engage with their environment. Homeless people, they love nothing better than a good bush that will keep them dry and keep them hidden. Like, they have appreciation for, water, I can jump in here and I can get myself clean finally. And so that's, healthy spirit wants that too, That's the point. I'm pretty sure. Just the emphasis. We have knowledge. We talk about the prophecy. We talk about the scriptures. We talk about the understandings. But do we fellowship with that which we are trying to understand? Why are we trying to understand it if not so we can be in closer fellowship with it? That was my motivation when, I left Christian religion, went through cult recovery, remembered the Israelites are a people who are to be a wifely nation, so they have their role, but then there are other people that the Creator said don't touch. In the book of Obadiah, he says Mitzrayim, or Egypt, and Assyria are his as well. So what are the faces of God? What a man has, a wifely relationship with his spouse, a parenting relationship with his children, a different set of qualities to siblings, to co-workers, to a boss. There, many faces were created in the image of God. Many faces, many hats. What are the different hats that our Creator, what face is our Creator showing amongst these other people? That is the pursuit of understanding. That is why we are to pursue understanding, and we are blessed in understanding, so we can get into closer and deeper fellowship with our Creator. If we can't get into fellowship, then we don't need to know more. But if we're being invited into deeper fellowship, that's when we're introduced through our dreams, these understandings, like the ones that I'm bringing through about the seeds and everything else, the metaphysical stuff. That's being introduced to me because now I can empathize with our Creator has to deal with this. Learning that Satan has a role to play, legitimately is in charge of the spirits, in charge of delving out justice. That's your sheriff. So now we empathize with the angels in heaven. This is their honorary brother who was created just for things like this and just enjoys his job a little too much. And they're sad to see it. And so you can empathize with the Creator. That's how you have closer, deeper fellowship and intimacy that is more like a marriage relationship. No one knows a man like the woman he sleeps with behind closed doors. Whether it's how evil he is or his vulnerabilities. I want the guy who does the vulnerabilities. And our Creator can be that guy that shares the vulnerabilities with us instead of Satan, who's going to share the abuse and the anger with us behind closed doors where supposedly nobody can see, and then come out all shiny guy. Oh, he's a great guy. You got the greatest guy ever. So nobody will believe that he's abusing her. The police officers, the government officials, the church people, your priests, and all that. So yeah, there's a whole lot of insight into the showbread, the fellowship, what it means, and why it is given to some, like Enoch. Enoch had a relationship with the Creator, went to the Creator and said, instead of going around saying, I gotta take care of this one and that one, the demons are overrunning, I gotta do this. No, went to the Creator and said, hey, these angels that were supposed to watch over us and teach us and instruct us and help us, they're now having sex and their offspring are torturing other people, So Enoch sought that fellowship with the Creator. And so Enoch was rewarded with understanding. Otherwise, you don't need to know. You don't need to know. But it's Satan who will give you these secret things. The ascension. What did they say about the Tower of Babel? Read in Jubilees. It says, we will ascend to heaven above the throne of God. The ascension process, this whole New Age thing, the ascension, we're going to ascend to the fifth dimension. Everything is about ascension. And we're never given to connect it to the Tower of Babel that was destroyed and the people were scattered. Because what right do we have mucking about in the heavens? We're only going to expand Satan's kingdom. We're not expanding peaceful, what the New Agers think. And I always tell them, the fifth dimension, there's evil in the fifth dimension. Hello, it's just faster, quicker, and more powerful. You're not leaving the suffering of earth. You're not leaving the evil doers. You're not leaving, there's this one, she rings a little bell before she does a reading. And she's, banish the archons. The archons weren't there until you said their name, and then they're all over it. What's going on here? Oh, got a little tinkly bell, do you? That's nice. What you up to? Oh, look at all these people listening. They're opening their channels. Woohoo! Feeding time, boys. And why do you need to know about the spirits over you if you're just going to worship them and you're going to have fellowship with them instead of our Creator? It's our Creator we fellowship first. And then we could say, oh, hey, thanks for being here. You know, like Abraham talked to the angels that were on their way to Sodom and Gomorrah. But to worship them, no. Unless the Creator's present in them. If the Creator's presence is there, then you bow down to. It was like Yeshua when, you know, God was speaking through him. That was different than when he's just walking around down the road and somebody's falling down at his feet. He's like, no, don't do that. And when John saw him during the Revelation, Yeshua, no, don't bow down at my feet. You're in the presence of the Creator. You're in heaven. The Creator's not manifesting through me right now because it's all around you. You don't need to bow down to its presence in me now because you're in its presence elsewhere. See, these are the differences. This is what fellowship brings. It's that fellowship, not the amount of abundance. It doesn't mean you're fellowshipping more with God. We know who you're fellowshipping more with these days. And again, repeat, the prefiguring Christ. What does it mean you have to eat of the body, drink of the blood? Because you are already. This is just a reminder, a memory that we are alive solely because we are in a heavenly body. And we have been transferred from the demonic body that was sustaining us, demonic energy, into the Christ body, the body of Christ. That's what that means. That's pretty profound, huh? It's a real physical, metaphysical thing, a separating. And so, you know, I'm walking around with my bubble of Christ meat surrounding me, and, you know, amongst a bunch of people who are surrounded in meat of a different nature. Like, you could just shock the heck out of everybody. Say the most ridiculous things, because those who want to know will get it, and it will be funny to them too. Everybody else, shock them. Let them flee from you. She crazy. I don't want what she's got. Like, good. More room for me to stretch myself, man. Spread my consciousness out around. I think the plants around me like it. I know the animals around me like it. So there you go. So it is.